Slovakia's constitutional court has turned down an appeal concerning the country's citizenship law for procedural reasons. The body said a majority of 7 votes to approve or reject the appeal could not be ensured. Proponents of the appeal had requested the top court to declare the Citizenship Act unconstitutional. The constitution stipulates that no individual shall be deprived of Slovak citizenship against their own will. Under the Citizenship Act, however, hundreds of people were stripped of their citizenship after they applied for citizenship in another country. The Hungarian government learned the Slovak decision with regret, Deputy Prime Minister Zsolt Semjén said. He insisted that the Slovak citizenship law harms the interest and rights of not only Hungarians, but Slovaks as well.
László Brenzovics, the head of the Hungarian Cultural Association in Transcarpathia, is expected to be placed high on an electoral list of the Ukrainian president, Petro Poroshenko. The Hungarian party had signed an agreement in May on electoral cooperation with Poroshenko, then a presidential candidate. Poroshenko agreed that in return for support by the KMKSZ, if elected, he would help Transcarpathian Hungarians to parliamentary representation. RMDSZ has published a draft law on autonomy for Szekler land. Kelemen, the party's leader, said that RMDSZ would ensure autonomy for Maros, Kovászna and Hargita counties. He added that the party and the Hungarian community has been a stabilizing factor in Romanian politics, and it wants to stay that way, and the autonomy draft had nothing to do with any kind of separatist aspiration. Kelemen said that they would try to persuade Romanian society that the plan does not pose a danger to Romanian people. He emphasized that those European countries which have settled their relations with their national minorities are all the stronger for having done so.
The National Szekler Council has called on supporters of autonomy in Transylvania to vote for Zsolt Szilágyi, the presidential candidate of the Hungarian People's Party in Transylvania, in November and support his candidacy by signing recommendations beforehand. Zsolt Szilágyi expressed thanks for the support, and he said he is very close to having collected the required 200,000 supporting signature for the presidential candidacy by the September 23 deadline. He asked volunteers to put in the necessary effort in the last week. He added that the goal of achieving autonomy is supported by those who signed the recommendation. Groups of people expressed support for Scotland's independence in flash mobs initiated by the Hungarian National Council of Transylvania in Marosvásárhely, Csíkszereda, Gyergyószentmiklós and Sepsiszentgyörgy. The referendum in Scotland could be indicative for Europe, despite the fact that the country seeks independence and not the sort of autonomy sought by the Szekler land, participants said. Scots will decide in a vote on Thursday whether Scotland should or should not remain part of the United Kingdom.
It is not important how many voted yes and how many no in the Scottish referendum, the leader of RMDSZ, who is fighting for Szekler land autonomy, said after the results of the referendum on Scottish independence. Kelemen said a much more important message was that the Scottish community could freely decide what path to take. The Szekler people demand the same right. RMDSZ this week presented its plan for Szekler land autonomy. Kelemen said that amid the Romanian constitutional framework currently in effect, this could not be approved, so the association would propose a plan for a new constitution, he said. The trust of the community is the greatest recognition which entitles the Sapiencia Hungarian University of Transylvania to make long-term plans, Rector László Dávid said, opening the academic year today for 2,200 students in 3 Transylvanian cities, Kolozsvár, Marosvásárhely and Csíkszereda. Sapiencia receives support from the Hungarian state, and Deputy State Secretary Tamás Veccel told the ceremony that Hungary is proud of the university's achievements and plans to also share with the Hungarian community in Transylvania the responsibility for building a future. Budapest will host 4 Euro 2020 matches, the Union of European Football Associations decided. UEFA announced in 2011 that on the occasion of the 60th anniversary of the European Championships in 2020, the continental tournament will be held in 13 countries. The Budapest matches will be held in the new Puskás Ferenc Stadium, which will be built within the walls of the existing arena. It will have 68,000 seats and is planned to be opened in 4 years. Sándor Csányi, the president of the Hungarian Football Association, said the inclusion of Budapest as a host city was a sports diplomacy achievement of Hungary.